Welcome to Girls Night.
I'm Jordan.
I'm Lisa.
I'm Fern.
And Meg.
And today we're going to talk about a godly marriage. We've all just been kind of thinking about it this week, what that means, what that looks like. And I just want to first off encourage, if just hearing the topic scares you and you think that is so not where I'm at in my marriage, that's not how I would describe it. I just want to first encourage you that none of us are experts at this. We're not talking about this to say that our marriage is superior to anyone's, because we all are human. We all have had hardships in our marriages. But this is just to encourage you that a godly marriage is something that is possible. And, we've all been married for a different lengths of time, but, accumulatively together, we have some wisdom that we think we've gained through our marriage. So I just want to preface that before I kind of get into some things. So first off, I want to say, one of the big challenges I think marriages face today is social media and the quick access of reaching other people. And there's a verse I want to read. It's James 1:14-15. But each person is tempted when they are dragged away by their own evil desire and enticed. Then, after desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin. And sin, when it is full grown, gives birth to death. So I'm reading that verse because, me and my husband, we got married at 22. We were really young. We were really in love. But we did not know, that temptation would ever enter our marriage, or that we would ever be faced with anything that would try to pull us apart. And the thing I've learned over the years is you have got to fight against giving into your flesh. Your flesh wants to be selfish. Your flesh wants to have a quick fix.
Instant gratification.
Instant gratification. Your flesh wants to see what you can receive from someone else. What are you giving me? What are you providing me? How are you serving me? When's the last time you loved on me? You can be a bottomless pit of need in marriage. And I think a lot of times people go into it I just want to find someone because I want them to complete me. Yes, the two become one. There is a unison that happens there, but it's not two halves. It needs to be two wholes that come together, because yes, there are things about my husband that compliment me. I'm not good with technology. I don't enjoy it. I don't find the new technology exciting. My husband loves it, and he's can't wait to set up whatever the thing is. Yeah. So it's yes, in some ways we are completely opposites, and he does meet that need there. But one thing I have learned, the nights I've cried, or the times that I have felt very gosh, I am just not, I feel we're not communicating well, or something's off. It's because I am not allowing God to fill that need, and I'm looking to Him, or I'm being pulled by my flesh. So the opposite of a godly marriage is having a flesh-filled marriage. Selfishness.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
What's your train of thought?
So a godly marriage, I would say, is very. The reason why it's so, I feel hard, is because it's very counter cultural. you know, there's this idea of marriage that the world has, and like you said, it's very like flesh based.
Like selfish centered.
Yeah, selfish. I feel like a lot of it too is like feelings. Like we're very driven by our feelings. We're looking to feel certain things. And when we don't feel these things, it's like, well, this must not be my person. Because I went through this a lot, like in early marriage, where it was like the honeymoon season kind of wore off. And, you know, here come the fights and the butterflies are gone and all the things. And it's like, well, maybe this isn't my person. But no, it's just that you are looking for feelings. What feels good? What's gonna give you kind of like that high?
Yeah.
And really, a godly marriage, kind of like our relationship with Jesus, it's dying to ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to bring that into marriage as well. Dying to yourself, serving one another, doing for one another. You know, as women, I was reading in Ephesians, you know, it talks about the husband and how he's supposed to lead the family, but the woman, the wife, is like the helper. You know, she comes and she helps and she kind of picks up. And so, yeah, it's very countercultural, which is why a lot of the times when you, like, for instance, okay, say like your husband or wife like cheats on you and you decide to stay and fight for your marriage because you feel like that's what you're supposed to do as, you know, like as Christians or whatever. The world might look at that and be like, why would you stay with them?
Right.
Yeah.
They did this, they did that.
Yeah.
But it's like,
It's such a
Jesus,
cancel culture.
right?
Like,
Jesus forgave us for like
so many things.
everything,
Every
you
sin
know?
we'd ever commit.
And so that's what we're called to do as well. That doesn't right the wrong, but it just says that like that's what we're called to do. Like that's what a godly marriage looks like: dying to yourself and
Yeah.
not being driven by feelings. Like love is something else that I've learned is like love is not a feeling. Love is a person, and it's Jesus.
And it's
you know?
a choice too. Every day we wake up and choose to love our husbands
100%.
and our kids and everyone.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't feel it,
Right.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Choice.
it's a sacrifice for sure.
Like biblically, you can walk away if someone cheats on you,
Right.
but
But I'm saying, like, if you
it
feel
is
led
yeah.
to do that,
Yeah.
I'm saying,
right.
like, forgiveness to the world
Yes.
will look very, like, what
Confusing.
are you doing?
Yeah. No, 100%.
You know?
And I've heard so many amazing
I couldn't come
testimonies
up with a
about
better
peop-
example.
No, yeah. I just wanted to say that because it's like, you know, there are some people who are in marriages that the person is a chronic cheater and they're,
Right.
you know, they're,
Depends on your situation.
yeah. But then there are people who are truly repentant and if the spouse chooses to take that person back and walk in love and forgiveness towards them, like that's exactly what Jesus did to us.
Yeah.
There's a song I've been enjoying called Judas from Josiah McQueen or Queen or whatever. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah. I like
But it was,
him.
I do too. It was talking about how, like, you know, I'm no better than Judas because he did it for money and I did it for free. And it's like, how many times have we walked away from God to pursue the flesh, to pursue the things of the world when we know better, but we're still like, yeah, no thanks. You know, we still betray him. Yet his love is always there and he's always like one prayer away from embracing us. And the example of Jesus and, you know, the church being the bride of Christ is like what, you know, the Bible says marriage should look like. Like Jesus died for his wife. He died to himself completely for his bride, the church. And that's the example. So it's like, man, like husbands are called to die to themselves for their wife. And so like that's a pretty high calling, you know?
Yeah. I was thinking, so every morning when Brand goes to work, I don't know why, but the trash is always full. Like, and so then I go the whole day because I'm like, I'm not taking this trash out. So I'll go the whole day just like, and then like sometimes even the counter next to the trash will be just full because I'm like, I'm not taking the trash out. And I told him the other day, I'm like, you don't want to take the trash out before you leave? Of course, I was thinking in my head, like, oh, I can't. But then I was like, you know what? This house ain't ever clean half the time when he comes home. And, like, sometimes dinner's not even done. And, like, blah, 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 the list goes on. And he never says anything.
Right.
He never complains. He's not like, why is this house a mess? You're slacking on your wifely duties.
Yeah.
So it's just very like humbling because I'm like pointing out what he's lacking in.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm over here, barely got the house clean ever. And it's just chaos and he doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good perspective.
that is really good.
And so I'm like, okay, I feel like when we focus so much on what the other person is doing wrong, then we begin to lack in what we're supposed to be focused on,
Yeah.
Right.
you know?
And again, it kind of goes to like what you're doing for me versus what I'm doing for
Right.
you,
Right.
you know? And I've been very guilty of that, where I have, like I'll be so busy working on the house, you know, taking care of the kids, cleaning dishes, cooking, whatever, all the things. And sometimes it's not clean and not cooked, whatever, but I feel overwhelmed sometimes by all the things I'm trying to get done.
Yeah.
But I don't get to see him at work doing all the things there.
Right.
And I think that sometimes gives us a disadvantage, because if we saw all that they were doing at work, I think
Yeah.
our attitudes towards them when they got home would be much different.
Be like, whoa.
Because it would be like, gosh, you had a hard day at work.
Yeah.
Like that person was rude to you. Like you know, were on your feet all day and you just had
Yeah.
knee surgery. My husband just had knee surgery, like, and he's been having to walk and stuff. And, you know, just all these things that we don't see. And I think it would change our perspective a little bit, but it's like we have to remind ourselves, like, you know, they're working hard.
Yeah.
There was one other example I wanted to bring up of a godly marriage, and it's something I've experienced and something I've seen throughout my life that I just, when I see it, I'm like, gosh, that is beautiful. And it's when a partner is sick. We recently went to a 50-year marriage vow renewal for one of Justin's family members, and he, you know, is very, very sick right now, and he couldn't even talk to do the vow renewal, but she still read the vows to him.
So sweet.
And it was so precious, and it's like, wow, goals, you know, to hit
Yeah.
50 years, and she's been taking care of him, you know, this past year with all the health problems, and I just was like, man, like, you know, when you're young, like, you fight about the dishes, you fight about the kids, the this, the that, but it's like, you've been together 50 years, and you are, you know, literally having to take care of your spouse who's sick, and just like how beautiful that is, that someone would be that committed to you, you know, that they would take care of you when you're old and gray, you know.
Yeah.
And when I've told maybe a little bit, I don't know if I have actually, but when I was pregnant, I got really, really sick and I was hospitalized, and I can go more into that another time, but I almost died, and I was laying in the hospital bed, 2 oxygen masks on my face. I had a really, really rough night where they were gonna intubate me, and my OB was like, you have one more night. The survival rate is less than 10%. Like, I think it's like 5%. And they had not seen one person survive it at this hospital. So I was looking at death. I mean, I was literally on death's door. And my husband, for the first time, they had just lifted COVID restrictions, because before, if you had COVID, like, there was no visitors at all. They had just lifted it. It was such a God thing. And so for the first time, I get a visitor, and it's Justin, and he's in the hall. And I didn't know this, but they stopped him and they said, "You need to make funeral arrangements."
Oh my gosh.
Are you serious?
Oh my gosh. Oh.
So people don't survive this being pregnant or not being pregnant, or
Both.
just both.
Yeah, in general.
Yeah.
Oh, can you imagine hearing that?
That's traumatizing.
That's very unasked for. That's not.
They told him, "You need to prepare to take home your newborn son without your wife. You need to get things in order. She's not doing well. She's probably not going to make it. And you just need to prepare." So they dropped that on him right before he walks into the hospital room. Well, I didn't know this. I'm just laying there. And he walks in, and like seeing him brought me so much like comfort, because I'd been poked and prodded by doctors. I've been suffocating slowly. I had no familiarity. I had no family, no friends, nothing, just in there forced to be alone. And when I saw him, I was just like, oh my gosh, like, thank God. And he came over to my bedside, and he just laid there and just started bawling. And like, he's not a crier, so if Justin's bawling, like, it's intense. And I just like remember like rubbing his head and him just crying. And I didn't know the conversation that had just taken place, but
He was comforting you and you were comforting him. You're like, it's okay.
yeah. And honestly, like, before that, Justin and I had a lot of ups and downs, but I've never felt more loved by him than when I was sick. Because he showed up, like, he was going to work every day, and he would come instantly after work, and he would stay as long as they would let him. And then he ended up like making nice with the nurses, bribing them. When they finally, he was literally doing everything he could to schmooze them so he could be in there with me. He would like go get me treats. Like, he was very, very attentive to me. And I remember the first time, so they lifted COVID restrictions. That's a whole story. Like, I saw a miracle. I'll get into that another time. But first time ever walking, I was like, I almost lost the ability to walk. My legs were like this. And I'm huge pregnant, and I hadn't walked in almost a month. So like, my legs are like doing this.
Yeah.
And I just remember, like, I was heavy too, y'all. I gained a lot of weight because I was in the hospital, like, this big belly. And anyway, he was like holding me. He was completely my support, walking me. And I'm like, if I ever doubted that he loved me, he loves me. So I think that is also a godly marriage. Like, when crap hits the fan, because I can't think of a better term at the moment. Sorry, but
when you're
life
in
has
bed,
those moments.
not looking pretty, looking rough.
Y'all, I hadn't shaved my legs in a month. It was bad.
That reminds me of postpartum too. Like, it's not to that degree. I mean, for some of us, could be to that degree with a little more. Well, yours was post.
Well, I was still pregnant.
No, not post. What was it? Prepartum.
Prepartum.
During pregnancy.
I think it's called
and then-
antepartum.
Antepartum.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. I just knew a new word. I just learned a new word. Antepartum and postpartum. But it makes me think about that. Just how our husbands are there for us after having a baby, even if it was rough recovery or not. Like, just like helping us with a baby, helping us with a house. Just like all the little things that we need. I remember feeling so, like, when I had my first, feeling so taken care of by him, just like going to the pharmacy and getting me the things that I needed. And he also bought me this little trash can with the lid, because those were going to be a little stanky, so in the bathroom area. So he, like, but without a word, without being like, oh, you stink, or like, babe. Like, no, he literally just went and got
Right.
me a little trash can with a lid and a little foot thing to open it. He's like, I bought you this, babe. And I was like, why? And he's like, oh, for all your postpartum stuff. And I was like,
Our golden
like,
retriever.
yeah, like all those little things
So
that you're
sweet.
like, I mean, that on a normal day you'd be like, oh, thank you. Like when you're in that situation or not feeling well, you're
Yeah.
in so much pain, life change situation going on, like those little things are like, it just warms your heart. You know, you're like, oh, like you're taking care of me. You're not complaining about what it looks like, what it smells like, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, you're just there supporting. You know. So yeah, it's
Sickness
just
and health.
yeah,
Right?
sickness and health,
Yeah.
and it just also when our bodies change, our face changes, our
Right.
hair changes, our everything changes with
So
pregnancy.
true.
Like
So
Everything
many
have
different
changes. Like, and
like
they stay the
phases.
same. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, they get the dad bod or whatever, but you know,
Right.
it's nothing like what we go
Us,
through.
yeah.
So it's just kind of like being like, oh, you still love me with all my stretch marks and all the weight fluctuations. You know, it's just sweet to see that kind of love that doesn't give up, that doesn't
beautiful.
It is.
right, that doesn't just think about the physical, like, oh, you're not cute anymore, bye. You know, like you
Yes,
still
it's so much
see the
deeper than
heart
that.
and everything.
That's why
Yeah.
it's so important to choose your partner.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
Choose the right partner.
I know when we-
you know,
when
the
you were
word
talking
says
about-
not to be unequally yoked for a reason.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
I know when Fern was saying like the whole postpartum thing, I couldn't help but think of like single
Yeah.
women.
I was thinking the
Like,
same thing.
They don't have any of the support we had.
Yeah.
I can't imagine
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
single mom.
Yeah, I was at the hospital with Isabella, or my second daughter, and like before I had her, and I was just asking the nurse, I was like, because it was just me and my husband. My mom couldn't make it because she had to go take care of my other one. It was a whole thing. And I was just thinking, like, I'm so grateful that my husband's here, even though it's just like one person. Because I feel like last birth with my first one, there was like my grandma, my mom, my parents-in-law, like everyone was there before having her. And this time it was just me and my husband the entire time, which we loved it, but it made me think, I'm like, it's just me and my husband. Like, I wonder people that don't have anyone, like don't even have a husband, don't have anyone, like parents that can come, like anyone. And I asked the nurse, I was like, have you ever had anyone that's just here by themselves, like they don't have anyone? She's like, yeah. Like, I had this girl recently, and it's like, it was just her, like, she kept calling people and no one would answer. I was just like,
Oh gosh,
so
that's
sad.
heartbreaking.
she said she was just so like just sad and just like crying on her phone. And I was
That's
like,
when you really hope they have like nurses who really care
I
about
know.
the
Yes,
patients.
I felt
you know?
so bad. 'Cause I
seriously.
was like, imagine going through all of this, like just the roller coaster of emotions, like postpartum, like alone. Like that's just
Yeah.
so.
You want
it just
people
broke
to
my heart.
celebrate with you, the new
Yeah.
life. You know it.
Like you just have the doctors and the nurses, which you still have someone there, but you know it's not the same.
No,
It's
I
not
was
like
yeah.
your
weird because
loved ones.
the only person I wanted there was Will. Like
Yeah.
I didn't want anybody else.
I felt the same way.
I
I
done
just
the
wanted
same
Will.
too.
And
Well,
that
for
was
the
it.
actual birth,
Oh no! I like
Yeah.
even afterwards. Like
Oh.
I like they asked me if I wanted anybody to come in for my C-section, and I was like, no, I just want my husband. That's
Yeah.
it. Like I wanted it to be our intimate moment of
yeah.
seeing our girls for the first time together, and then
Yeah.
afterwards. My mom did come, my parents did come, but it was later on.
Yeah,
like I
like,
think it
to
was like
visit.
the second day or something like that. But like the first day, I just wanted Will. That was it. Like I'm like, no, I don't want any visitors. I just want my husband there.
Yeah.
But I'm weird like that though.
Yeah.
I have one other thing I want to share. It's a verse, and it really stood out to me. Okay, so like a partridge that hatches eggs it did not lay, are those who gain riches by unjust means. When their lives are half gone, their riches will desert them, and in the end, they will prove to be fools. So this may sound like, why is she reading this? What's the significance? Y'all, this is so deep. Okay. The reason I'm reading this is because, okay, riches. Riches can be a lot of things. It can be wealth, money, but it also can be, let's say you're in a marriage and you're looking at yours and you're feeling disappointed. You're feeling hurt. You've got a lot of pain that you are carrying in your marriage. And it is easy to look at other people's marriages or what they seem like, or someone else's husband or some other man, and think the grass would be greener on the other side. So I read this, I opened my Bible, randomly read this, and for some reason it just like jumped out at me. And I was like, partridge. That's a bird. I know that's a bird from the Christmas song. But I'm like, what is the significance of a partridge? So I end up looking it up. Y'all. Partridge birds share their nests oftentimes with other female birds. What happens is they lay their eggs, but at first they're sharing, but then one of them gets territorial and thinks, I want this nest to myself. So that partridge bird will push the other female bird out of her nest and try to steal that bird's eggs. She gets greedy, wanting the nest to herself and the eggs to herself. Well, here's the downfall. The eggs have to be sat on and warmed and hatched. Partridges are small birds. They cannot manage their eggs plus another lady's eggs. So what happens is all the eggs die. All the babies die.
Wow.
Because she got greedy and she thought, I want it all to myself. Or I want her what she has. And so when I read that verse and I looked up the partridge, I'm like, this has so much meaning to it. Because you can look at something and think, I want that. That looks better than what I have. You know, she has it so good. He does this for her. You know, even just like on social media, you could be like, man, my husband never, you know, surprises me with this or that or whatever the situation is. But when I read that verse, I was just like, the grass, that's like the saying, you know, the grass is always greener on the other side, but it's not. It is not. And let's say you do get what you want, right? You get that attention or that guy or, you know, that spouse, whatever. But how long does it last? But then in the end, what comes of it? You actually end up losing everything. Because that's what happens with the partridge. She thinks, I want it all to myself. I want the nest to myself. I want the eggs to myself. And so she ends up losing everything.
Wow.
That reminds me of that short film that you sent us.
Yeah.
Where
it's
he's
like
it's called like
Forever Green.
Forever Green.
I think.
Yes.
Which one? Yes.
So like
The
the bear,
kid
it's like
show.
a baby bear, and he's like walking around looking for his mom. He's like lost and can't find his mom. This tree like comes down and like picks up the bear and like feeds him, starts like nurturing him, takes care. Well, time goes on. This tree has like what am I trying to say? Raised this bear. All this bear has ever known is these little pine cone snacks that the tree feeds it. Like,
Provides it for it, yeah.
Well, one day this like bag of chips comes like blowing by, and the bear like goes to grab it, and the tree's like, nope,
You don't want
you
that.
don't want that. And the bear's like, yes, I do. So he like takes the chip bag and tries the chips, and he's like, then he no longer wants the food that the tree was giving him. Like
Sounds
it's,
like a
it's
tree.
no longer good.
Sounds like kids eating.
So
trying
then
sugar.
he's like, I need more of that.
Yeah.
And so he starts to like walk away, and the tree's like, no, you don't. Stay here. And he's like, he gets mad at the tree and like destroys this little like tree that, anyway. So then he like wanders off into the woods and finds this like campsite with all this trash and food and snacks and stuff. And he just goes crazy eating it all. And then he like goes to walk back to the tree, and then there's like this fire.
He starts
And
a fire. Yeah.
The tree like goes to like save him, and then the tree ends up burning. And the bear's like, I just burped, so sorry.
was holding on to it, and he has to let it go to be saved.
Oh yeah, he
Wait,
was
holding on
he
to
was
what?
he had
He's
all this
holding all the
food and trash in his
trash
arms, and he was trying to save it from the fire, and he realized like I can either save myself or like burn with this trash.
Right.
So anyway, then the tree ends up burning. He gets safe on the other side, and he's like, you can tell he realizes, like, wow,
I lost everything.
I lost everything for my flesh.
Right.
And it's kind of like the
For the
same
temptations.
picture.
Yeah. I
know?
didn't
I
even
don't-
put that together. I love that you did that
think
because
I
I
watched
had
that.
seen that. It was so good. I sent it to y'all.
Yeah, I don't think I watched
It's
it.
so good.
I didn't click
It's
on it.
so
I probably saw the
good.
message.
The
I didn't-
kids will love it because my kids have watched it multiple times. It's so powerful.
Yeah, Forever
Look it up on
Green.
YouTube because it's so good. Forever Green. It is
Forever
such a
Green.
beautiful
Short
story. You can let your kids watch it too. It's
Very
amazing.
cute.
That's cute.
But yeah,
It is like a Christian because it has
It
like
is.
a Bible verse
Yeah.
at the end. So I
that
think it's,
no
love
greater
that.
love than this. That
Yeah.
you lay your life down for a friend.
but yeah.
Love that. That's sweet.
It's absolutely beautiful. So we hope that you are encouraged with this, that if your marriage, if you're feeling like, man, I really want to have a godly marriage, I don't know what that looks like. Like, we're just going to lift you up in prayer that God would just help you to heal whatever hurts you may have experienced in your relationship. It's impossible that offenses won't come. That is a scripture. But I pray for you that you would walk in forgiveness and love towards your spouse, to not give up hope, and to make the choice to be dedicated to that, and to not be selfish in it, but to see what you can do to change maybe a toxic dynamic, and to turn to the Lord, to allow Him to heal and to be the husband, the wife that you need, because He can fill the void that a spouse can't. And so we pray you found this encouraging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even think we really, I guess like talking about godly marriages, it's obvious that you need God, right?
Yes.
But like
God in the center.
we have to have Him at the center of our marriage, and always pursuing Him, always taking it all to Him and laying it down. Because ultimately He's the only one that will give us like a long lasting, love filled marriage. We can't do it without Him.
We talk about not being able to pour from an empty cup as a parent, but it's the same in our marriage. We cannot pour from an empty cup in our marriage, and that cup can only be filled by God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Amen, sister.
Come on. Preach it.
All right. Well, that was it for today's episode.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you.
We wanted to let y'all know that we are changing our posting schedule a little bit. We're gonna start doing every other week. Kind of see how that goes. And so you can catch our next episode
2 weeks.
next week, right?
Not next week.
So
2 weeks.
this one goes up, and then a week off,
And then the other week.
So yeah, I guess that's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Thank
Love
you.
y'all.
Bye.
Jesus loves
Bye.
you.
Yes.
Bye.